it's not anything that I fault you against, but it is, I can imagine that two virgins getting together would probably be, I don't know. It probably has its challenges itself, but it probably could be very freeing. Like, it probably feels like a very safe space. Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Beleaf Mel.
And we're here with episode 94 of How Married Are You?
My name Beleaf, this is Yvette, and we've been married 9 years. Live in California, we got 4 kids. Relationships scary, and it's very necessary that we share all of our struggles and we ask how married are. Every Tuesday and Thursday, shawty. If you're listening, you're in the wedding party. Sometimes deep, sometimes lighthearted. I don't know what else to say, so it's time to get it started. Look.
It's chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and...
It's chocolate baby story time.
All right, who's your chocolate baby story time? I say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Anaya. Your girl is tripping.
She is your girl. Oh my goodness.
I love her so much.
So do I.
She's just, we have a new nanny, and Naya's been like, look, let me tell you something. I am the one that runs things around here. I don't know who you think you are. I don't know where you came from, but what's your name again? You know, Naya's not playing. What's that girl's name? That girl.
She's so annoying. but she's so, like, you just...
She's just going through a little phase.
Yeah, and I'm like, if we can get through this... Lord have mercification. So my story was going to be about how she's starving herself.
Oh yes.
So
she won't anything
basically on the table right now. And if I were any other black mom, this probably wouldn't be the story. But on the table, you present a plate to your children for breakfast, right? So did that, right? And my plan was to like feed her that, like, girl, you gonna eat this until you decide, like, until you're done, and then you get other options. Well, our nanny went ahead and just made her lunch, which is fine. Give her another option. Give her a fresh plate of food. Did she eat it? No, she did not eat it. And so it's now dinner time. I just finished cooking dinner, and she had her plate, her breakfast, and her lunch. And I'm like, man, I actually did throw away her breakfast at this point, but she's just refusing to eat. And she's hangry. So her already 3 major or 3MSing behavior is now coupled with hunger. And so if you can imagine, it's just been an emotional roller coaster of a day. And I just have to remind myself that I really love this girl.
Yeah.
But on a brighter note, I've been playing around in her hair, and I did her hair, and it's cute.
Twice you did it, babe.
Yeah.
I'm
doing her hair, but
braiding.
I've been like cornrows.
Yeah.
You know, like,
which is new.
Yeah, that's new for me.
That was an expectation I didn't know I had.
Yeah, he's been on me for a while, but I feel like
her not.
You make little sly comments. You make little undertoned comments.
They ain't like your comments. Babe, you didn't do this side. You forgot this part. There's a patch missing over here. Are you gonna do that kid's hair anytime soon? Let's just cut it. Been me saying, babe, you think you could try to...
You know what's funny is I'm realizing as you speak, I had that same expectation. My dad would cut my brother's hair. I expected my husband to cut my children's hair too. And you're like a certified barber.
I ain't certified, but I'm something-ified. Let's do this.
All right, y'all, we're back. Okay, so this is Thursday. I know we're throwing y'all off a little bit, but it's Thursday, so we're just gonna... I don't know. We just put an episode out. This is Ask How Married Are You? If you'd like to let us hear what's going on in your life, you can call us at 760-335-6643. Again, that's 760-335-6643. Or you can email us at howmarriedareyou@gmail.com.
Yeah, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram
at How Married Are You?
Boom. All
right.
Oh, so we so the patrons been coming through.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of patrons, and so we always, whenever the patrons hit us up with a request, about ask how married are you, they take precedence over everyone else.
Yes.
So we do have
our first, like, someone took advantage of the skip the line.
Yeah, they was like, I need my answer
even
fast.
though we've been going all crazy in the line. So.
Yeah. They just like, let me get that collection plate. Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have one, and we're just gonna go for it right now. Here we go. What is this? Okay, now to my question. She said a bunch of stuff and it was really sweet. Thank you so much. But now to my question. You guys have mentioned a few times how your sex life at the beginning of your marriage had difficult moments. So I guess my question is, Yvette, what do you wish you had known during your time as a single woman? What do you wish you had done that would have helped your sex life in marriage? And Glen, in your opinion, what could she have done? As a Christian woman, I struggle with encouraging women to learn their bodies and not be scared of it instead of waiting till marriage to discover themselves sexually. How do you encourage that positivity without basically encouraging women to masturbate so that they know their bodies by the time they get married? I really hope this makes sense. I would be very interested to hear your opinions. Yeah. So I'll start with the first question about what I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known anything.
Anything.
So for me, the way that I was raised, my mom didn't really talk to me about sex, and my dad basically, I remember the conversation clearly. He said, keep your legs closed. And then the church told me, just wait to have sex until you're married. And that was pretty much the end of it. Like, I grew up believing that sex was a bad thing, and that if I were to have sex, I was going to get an STD or I was going to end up pregnant. And so I just refrained from it. I am I'm already on my own level of hypochondria. Like, anything, the worst thing could happen. And so for me, that was what kept me away from drinking alcohol, from smoking, like doing all kinds of things. I was just like, I'm going to die if I even take a sip.
That is sad.
Or a puff or anything.
That's sad.
I thought that I was going to die. So anyways, with sex, it was basically on the same level. And so I guess what I wish I would have known is, I wish that the church, and I don't know if I can say the church, but I wish that I would have had a healthier view of what sex was. I wish I would have known more about how it's meant to be enjoyed and not something that, and it's not just for procreating, like having children. I wish I would have known how the Lord designed it for pleasure. And, I don't know. I wish I would have known so many things. There's so many things that I didn't know. And I don't know what is appropriate to have known before. Like, I feel like I don't necessarily have a clear perspective as far as what is appropriate, how much exploration of your body you should do prior to marriage at the risk of masturbation. Because is masturbation, and maybe we should have done a little bit more Bible studying before we came on here, but is masturbation equivalent to fornication?
No, I don't think it's equivalent to fornication. I think what happens, the reason why masturbation is frowned on, right, is because it requires lusting after someone. You know what I'm saying? And that is the issue. Now, if you're able to do that without lusting, I'm not sure that's, again, you know what I'm saying? And that's the interesting thing. And that's why I think it's weird, like the laws now. Now, go with me here.
I think we need to get the kids out of there.
I don't think they mind if they can hear the kids in the background.
Okay.
Yeah, so what was I saying? Masturbation, lust. Yeah, so if you're able to do that without it, I think, that's the real question. Now, I do think there is something to be said. I think there's two different things. There's education. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Gosh. Go with me here. This is super controversial. Now, yeah, breathe it out. So, like, back in like days way before now, like people got married a lot younger.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like when, like, I don't know what, why the rules are the rules, you know what I'm saying? But to be an adult, to be a consenting adult, you have to be like 18 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? However, like, you're able to bear children way before that. You know what I'm saying? So I think there is there's kind of like this gap in like reality, you know what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like, listen, these are the laws, these are the rules. However, like I don't think it's bad to tell someone like, yo, you should know about your body. Like you should discover like why your body moves the way it moves, why you have these certain thoughts during these times, like why are these things coming up? You know what I mean? I think that is very healthy. And then what to do with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think being like a virgin in a marriage, I feel like that is a very like safe place of discovery.
What do you mean when you
like
say
like
that?
if two virgins get married,
Yes.
I feel like that is a very safe discovery. You know what I mean? Are you frowning because you didn't marry a virgin?
No. I mean,
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, if I'm honest, it would have been nice for you to have been a virgin or someone who just wasn't as experienced, or, you know, like, because that's always playing in the back of my mind. Like, that's something that I can't necessarily escape even 10 years into marriage, you know?
Totally.
And so it's not anything that I fault you against, but it is, I can imagine that two virgins getting together would probably be, I don't know. It probably has its challenges itself, but it probably could be very freeing. Like it probably feels like a very safe space.
Yeah. I mean, especially if someone isn't like contaminated with pornography and things like that, it makes it easier for people to discover together.
Yeah.
And I think that is like ideal. Now, I'm sorry. Like I'm very sorry that I stole that. Like I gave that away. You know what I'm saying? Instead of waiting for you. Like that's something I don't even think I've ever apologized for. I mean, I even really thought the need to apologize, but now I'm realizing like, dang, like I stole something for you or gave it away like cheaply. Not really knowing any better, but kind of like, you know, the grown-ups are like, yeah, you should. I don't even know if anyone told me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I regret that. Like I really do. Because there's this thing about you where you're like, man, I didn't know anything. And even though I was very educated on why my body like felt the way I felt and do like all the things, like there's still, you know, education, and I feel like you should have known about yourself.
For sure.
And I just think that,
like, y'all have to know that I didn't even know what a condom was until I was in middle school. And
That's
it was
normal.
As a result. Is that normal?
I think so.
Okay, good. Well, then I'm on track.
I mean, I knew before, but I'm just saying I think that's pretty fair.
Okay.
But I do think I think it would have been nice for you to kind of understand like, yo, this is not something to be scared of. This is something to look forward to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I really feel like there should be a course class or something, and I think there is. We just don't know what that is yet. Yeah, so we'll have to do our Googles.
So she said, Glenn, in your opinion, what could she have done? Do you have any actionable steps that I could have done?
You could have just read some books. That would have been cool. Just reading and just like really being interested for yourself and not, you know, like feel like it was happening to you. You know what I'm saying? Which made me feel gross.
And that's another thing that I feel like I grew up thinking is that sex was for the man. It wasn't necessarily for the woman.
Yeah.
And I feel like it took years into our marriage for me to really understand that it was something that I could like experience pleasure for myself in.
Yeah, and because I'm I'm a pleaser, so I like don't want to do it if you're not into it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, no thanks, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that is something that's super interesting, is that I feel like, you know, you need to understand that this is for you. You know what I mean? And like men should work hard to understand you and to know and to be guided by you in this way. You know, it's something to look forward to. It's not something to fear, even though it is a lot of trust you're giving. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a transfer of trust there. I think a better question for me is not so much what women should know, but it's how men can be patient through that, like giving like the virginity, like stepping into someone who is with a virgin. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we should be way more patient. Like,
the same is true for the other way around though too, because there are women who end up marrying virgin men.
Yeah,
for
sure. I don't feel like that's what she's asking, but
well, she's specifically asking what a woman could have done to prepare. But yeah, no, I understand.
But so there's okay, true. Now I can't speak to what women who are more experienced than men should do, but I could say men who are more experienced than women should be patient. So even when you think you're patient, be more patient than that, and then go all the way to the max. Because depending on like what type of situation, you know, your spouse grew up in, then it could be opening up like wounds or like fears or like legal, like, you know what I'm saying, like legalistic, like, you know what I'm saying, like, or like they don't have a choice. And to me, that feels like you're being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
If I'm having sex with you and you think you have to do it, that is very close to like being manipulated. You know what I mean? And so for me, when we started to become intimate in that way, it made me feel as much in sin as I did before we even were married. And I was like, you know, back in my heyday. So like I was like mad at God, like, man, this is supposed to be different. You know what I mean? And I just was like, what the heck? But I think, and I don't know what I could have done to kind of like, hey now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No.
I don't know. So there are people in this, you know, who may be in that situation where they're not talking about sex and they're avoiding it. So what would you say?
So what I would say is,
because there was a turning point for you.
Yeah. And I think the turning point was when a girlfriend of mine just was like, hey girl, I got this book. And then we had some very candid conversations about sex.
Do you know that I talked to her husband?
Huh? You talked to her husband to talk to her?
No, I didn't tell her to say anything, but I talked to her husband like, man, this is my struggle. Oh. And that's probably what prompted the conversation.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I thought it was a natural thing. But
well, hey, well, just so you know,
let the Lord use you. Get
in the community, get to the homies.
Yeah, for real though. I think being in community and having that openness and talking about those types of things is really important, because if it had not been for her, we probably would still be struggling in this way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, if someone didn't reach out to me and say, hey, this is what it is. Yeah. And just open my mind and my heart. And it couldn't have been Glen, y'all. Like, it just it couldn't have been Glen. So we women, I mean, and you men, I'm sure men talk about it, but we as women have to look out for each other in this way. Like, I think I don't know if I've shared this story on my podcast before, but I called a couple of women the day after our wedding, the day after we got married, the morning after we got married, because we didn't have sex that night. But the morning after we got married, there were a couple women, including my mother, who I called, and I was like, well, why didn't anybody tell me? Why didn't y'all prepare me for this? Like, I feel totally ill-equipped. And I feel like the thing that needs to happen mostly is that we need to have an open dialogue about this. Women, like young women in the church, young virgins, need to be able to have a safe place to go and say, hey, like, tell me about my body, or like, tell me all the things, you know?
And so older women in the church should be given that information.
Yeah. And
or not even in the church, just older women in your community should be giving you that information.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, okay. I mean, like,
No, don't.
I mean, okay, if I think about it now, there are women who I now know in hindsight that I could have gone to and been like, hey, can you just tell me, like, can you help me? Like, I still don't think my mom is the one. No offense if you're listening to this, mom. But, like, I still, like, there are women that you probably have an idea, like, they seem like they might have a healthy whatever life. And if they don't, then hopefully they'll be honest with you and point you in the right direction. But I say that there just needs to be more open dialogue amongst women about what is going on. And maybe you're in a circle where there is open dialogue. Good for you. But for me, that was not the case.
Yeah, our wedding night was probably one of the most awkward experiences we've had in our marriage.
Indeed.
Yeah, like just kind of like me. I just remember the scene. The next morning, or no, that night, I'm sitting. I ordered room service. I'm like, "You hungry?" She's like, "No." She's like, "Yes." I ordered a cheeseburger. And I'm sitting there eating cheeseburger. You better call somebody because I don't know what to tell you. I'm impatient. You better need to talk to somebody. And you're like, I don't know. And then we went to sleep. And then we woke up the next morning. I'm like, you need to call somebody.
Yeah.
Man, if I could do that night over again, geez.
What would you do differently? Let's talk about it.
I wouldn't do anything. I would just hold you.
Oh.
I would not, like, I don't know why I was so, but I mean, you guess if like, I guess if I'm trying to like remain abstinent through, you know what I'm saying? Like my prime years, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like holding on and you're like a little flirtatious, very touchy, like curious. And I'm like, man, she's about to give me everything.
And I think that's another piece of tidbit of education that women need. Especially if you're trying to stay pure and you're in a relationship with someone who else is trying to stay pure. Like Glenn had to educate me on like, dude, when you touch me this way,
I'm going to get an erection.
Yeah.
And please back up.
And as awkward and uncomfortable as it is, it was like,
she wouldn't stop.
But I needed to know that. Like I needed to understand certain things that I just didn't understand. Like I didn't even understand the man's anatomy.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we answered the question, but I feel like we answered it as much as we could.
Yeah, we exhausted that thing.
And this next question, I feel like I pulled it out because I felt like it kind of tagged on to that question. And I'll read the email. It goes, hello, Glen and Yvette. You guys podcast give me life. Oh, thanks. I'm so thankful for you and the chocolate babies for putting countless smiles on my face. Keep up the good work. Thanks for reading my email. Here's a little bit of background to my story. I'm a newlywed and my husband and I just celebrated our first year anniversary a few days ago. We decided to save ourselves until marriage. I love my husband very much and he's truly my best friend. We laugh a lot together and really enjoy each other's company. My problem is that in the past year we have been married, I can count the amount of times we have had sex. My husband has a porn addiction that has been going on for at least 10 years. He also battles depression. We have both prayed about it, but he's still struggling. We have decided it would be best for him to see a Christian therapist, so that will be happening in the next couple of weeks. I understand where he's coming from with his struggles and try to be as supportive as I can, but my issue is I feel our sexual relationship is almost non-existent. We went on a weekend getaway to celebrate our anniversary and got to connect sexually, and that was awesome. But after saving myself for marriage, I am ready to thrive sexually, meaning I want to have more sex instead of just saving it for special occasions. And I'm tired of going to bed like we were roommates. I've talked to my husband about the fact that I would like us to have more frequent sex life. He listens and acts like things are going to be different, but he doesn't do much about it. When we were still dating, he was all over me, although we didn't do anything before marriage. And he was showing me way more sexual attention compared to now. I feel like it should be the opposite. I'm getting tired of talking to him about it without doing anything about it. And I don't enjoy being the only one willing to pursue intimacy in our marriage. I'm truly sexually frustrated, and I feel like this situation is putting me in a vulnerable position. If another man gave me some sexual attention, I would definitely be caught off guard since my own husband doesn't. I'm a Christian and believe in God's word, but I'm starting to feel like I understand why people cheat sometimes. I obviously feel horrible for even saying that. I don't know what to do anymore. Do you have any advice for me?
Man.
Whew. Yeah. Okay. You're looking at me.
I mean,
I feel like this would be more of your thing. Like for me, I feel like in my situation, like I feel like it's different because he's a male. He's also dealing with porn and he's dealing with depression and a couple other things. For me, it was just, I felt like I had a lower sex drive than you. But I feel like what's been really helpful for me is our scheduled sex. I feel like it's just...
Well, we do that because we have children.
Yeah, but
even if we were working, it's still...
Yeah, it would still be a necessary, like it would still be a helpful tool. And I'm not sure if that's something that this couple could do and if it would change anything. But I just feel like making sure it's on the schedule, agreeing to like, hey, we need to connect this way so many times a week.
Yeah, I can tell you that like when you like struggle with pornography, that you have such a contaminated view that like even him explaining what is going on with him could be embarrassing. Like him explaining what is happening might be like
explaining what is happening and what
like what he's comparing or what he wants. You know what I'm saying? It could be like strange. It could be on some like, yeah, I got a porn addiction, but it could be like BDSM. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what that is.
Which is like bondage. You know what I'm saying? Type stuff. Like it could be, you never know what it could be. You know what I'm saying? So I think
so what are you saying in that? Are you
I'm saying that like the counseling, the therapy, him finding freedom to talk about this is going to be super helpful for them. I don't know like if he's able to like fully just be like, yo, this is what I want. This is where I'm struggling. This is, you know, he's just withholding, you know what I'm saying? Because he might have gotten used to what he's seeing, you know what I mean? Or what he's experiencing on his own. Yeah, I there's a lot going on here because I think that, and like, it's awesome that she like desires him, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like there's a lack of patience on her part. You know? Transitioning into marriage in a sexual way is a big thing. Were they both virgins?
Especially, I don't know that they were virgins, but they waited.
They waited. You said especially what?
Especially if you weren't having sex before marriage. Like if you were in a relationship with someone and you guys decided you would wait.
Yeah, like it's very awkward. It's like, okay, now all of a sudden it's good.
Yeah.
Like now all of a sudden
we're allowed to have sex.
It's like, come on, man. Like, and now I'm supposed to just, you know, and like the enemy like really wants to keep you not having sex.
There's a saying that it was like before you're married, it's like Satan will do everything he can to get you to have sex, and then after you're married, it's like he'll do everything he can to keep you from having sex.
Yeah. That was there's a quote from Every Man's Battle, I think.
Is it? Yeah.
And so it's like the enemy is just kind of at work, you know what I mean? And I think that it's difficult, you know. I've been in your shoes, you know what I'm saying? And I understand like just having patience and being kind of like, man, like you kind of get hopeless, you know what I mean? But I just think that your patience is going to have to shine through. I know it's been a year and you're kind of like, yo, we should really be thriving right now. But honestly, like it could take a while, you know. There's, you know, the stuff that he has going on. If he struggled with it for 10 years, that could be like a very deep wound. You know what I'm saying? That he's trying to cover up and he's trying to like fill, and he might need it. He may need it every day, like sex every day.
Oh,
It could be that bad, and not to say that's bad. That's actually that's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Someone's having sex every day, but he may not know how to ask for that. And I'm not trying to put him like, I'm not saying that he's a victim. You know what I'm saying? But I am saying that it's way more than just he's just horny and he's just perverted. Nah, like it's a real mental battle where you're like, yo, I don't know if like you can't really come to terms with explaining yourself.
and how because I'm just thinking about it from her perspective, and there's probably an element of her that's feeling like, is he even attracted to me? Like, why am I not enough? Like, do I turn him on? Like, I desire him, why can't he desire me back? Like, why is it that porn can do it for him but I can't?
Well, that's what porn does, right? Porn is like, it's like, you know, at the click of a button, you have a whole different personality, a whole different face, a whole different whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's a huge variety there. It's contamination. You know what I mean? And so I don't know what it is. I can't explain that to him, but for her or for his situation. But I know that it can be difficult for someone to kind of like, it may not, I don't know. There's so many different things that could be happening here. Yeah. I mean, I think there could be a number of reasons why, you know, he's having this struggle. Maybe he doesn't feel confident. Maybe, you know, he's relied on porn so much that now this is the way he gets most of his arousal. There's something spiritual happening here, and I think that is definitely what you should be waiting on is loving him through the counseling.
Yeah.
But it's awesome that you're even thinking like this, and that you're patient, and that you're even having these real conversations. And in this term at the end where you talk about, you understand why people cheat. Yeah, man. Like totally. You can understand that, you know, like I understand why people cheat. I get it. You know what I mean? Like if you're not the type of person to like talk directly or like work things out verbally, like I could see you just being like, yeah, you work too much, I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead.
I don't know how I feel about that last line about I understand. Because, I mean, and the truth of the matter is I have come to understand it as well. I have come to understand it. And I used to say, like, I would never. And I still would like to think that that's true. But I do understand that, like, people are, it's possible. It's possible.
I mean, just think about it. Like there is something that you're not getting and someone else is willing to get it for you. And that thing seems like everything, even though it's not. It's your pain point. It's the thing you're not getting right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's kind of like, you know, it's how we negotiate other types of deals. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're not willing to do this. Like you're not willing to serve me in this place. So I'm trying to be there, but you're not willing to. So what am I supposed to do? You're supposed to wait. Love is patient. That's kind of it.
Lord.
And it sucks sometimes.
And true.
You know,
Indeed. I mean,
you know, when the scriptures, what is it?
1 Corinthians. Let's
1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. Right?
I actually kind of want to read it out loud.
Okay.
Love is patient. Love is kind. It does
this
not.
Is 1 Corinthians 13, 4.
Starting at verse 4. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails, but where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away.
Well, this is the thing too, right? So we can never fully show love without God. Like we can never be all of that without God. And God, right? So God is love. So he embodies that. So in essence, what we are required to be in moments like this, these trying moments, is like we have to have the love of God, right? That agape love, right? Because like if I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, this is a L.
What do you mean?
No pun intended. Love is patient, right? That's hard. Love is kind. That's kind of easy depending on your heart. Love does not envy. Well, maybe. Does not boast. I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you about it. Love is not proud. Okay. I don't struggle with that. Love doesn't dishonor others. That's tough. Because, and I'm just thinking about this young lady situation. Does not dishonor others. You don't understand? Like even her, like having these thoughts is kind of like, man, there's no honor there. But he's not honoring her, and like, you know what I'm saying? So he's not showing her love, and she's like, this could be it. You know what I mean? It's not self-seeking, not easily angered, keeps no record of wrongs, does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. Does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. So porn is delighting in evil. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just feel like it's there's so much here. You know what I mean? And I just feel like right now it's very easy to feel like this in a first year because it's new. You know, but I just think that he's been struggling with this since before you guys were even married. So I just think that he needs like a little bit of time transitionally. But I honestly think that I know that you've been talking about it to him. But I think you probably need your own form of counseling as well, because there's something happening with you where you're starting to like kind of distance yourself from your own like beliefs, you know? What do you think?
I don't know if she's starting to distance herself from her own beliefs. I just think she's experiencing a deep amount of frustration because she
but it's, I mean, I know this is going to sound real tacky.
She's saying, go ahead.
I know it's going to sound real tacky, but it's been a year. It's been 1 year.
Okay. I don't know what that means.
Do you feel like that's a long time?
Oh, yeah. Glen's like, I dealt with this for 6 years.
I mean, it's people who've dealt with it longer, or maybe their whole marriage. You know what I'm saying? But I think she's being she's speaking like
she's expressing herself, which I think some people don't do. Some people would just be living all resentful or living and cheating, and you know what I mean? So I'm proud of you for reaching out and asking for advice. I say I would just encourage you to continue to try to be patient with this guy as he goes through his therapy. And
I'm proud of him too, man, for even
for agreeing to go to therapy.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. And so maybe him going to therapy will allow you guys to have more open conversations about some of his frustrations or desires, and similarly yours. So I don't know. How married are you, babe?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Did you have another thought?
Nope.
How married are you, babe?
I'm so married that I just finished the mantle. Just finished it. Put it up on the wall. And you asked if we can make another one or buy another one or something. Because from what I understand, the mantle is ashy. I feel like that when I get to, I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a builder. I'm a wannabe bad. Part of me makes me feel like it helps me connect with my grandfather because he was a carpenter. And I want to be in some type of, like, he had the skills with his hands, and I know I got skills with my hands, so I'm like,
you do.
Whoa. Speaking of sex, jeez.
I was not
Take
going
it easy.
there, Lord.
And I want to be able to, make something with my hands. But I made a mantle and it looks bad, guys. The mantle looks
We made a mantle.
Yeah.
Like, give me some credit. I helped.
You did help, babe. But you ain't taking credit for it.
Because I feel like I lost participation at the end of it.
Yeah,
And then
you lost participation and then you just kept critiquing it. And what about this part right here? And so you definitely did the inside, but what it looks like is my fault. Okay, so I say I made it.
Okay. I'm just glad we both agree on it, because
that mantle is going to stay up there until we build another mantle.
Oh man, I love you so much.
That mantle, I tried, guys. It looks, you ever see like a really well done piece of art and it's like a really nice picture and then you see a child's imitation of it? That's what the mantle looks like.
The child's imitation?
Yeah. And Yvette's been watching, we got caught watching, what's that, Fixer Upper or something like that with Chip and Joanna Gaines. So she was like, look, babe, we could be that. And I'm like, who do you think you are?
I was just kidding.
She just be talking, man, and it triggers me. And I'm like, excuse me, I rap. If you want me to build something, I build these bars. I'm not building you a house. I can't do that. But I will work at it. So she said that, she was like, can we get another one or whatever? And I said, we'll try again. And we spent like a lot of money on that daggone thing. We didn't, guys. I didn't pre-stain it. So I just poured the stain on there and I was like, why?
So that's why he said what he said. It looks ashy. It looks dry.
And then I put the top coat on there and it looked worse. And I'm like, something is not right. So anyway, how married are you, babe?
I'm so married. The other day I went and picked myself up some Chipotle and I didn't even ask you, and I got you a bowl yourself. I know we've had a Chipotle a couple of times, so you're probably trying to think about which time. But do you remember the time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was on my way home and I was like, I know what he wants, so I'm gonna get it.
Thank you, babe.
You're welcome, babe. And that's just how married we are.